And welcome to Racing, Pacing, Chasing, Season 2, Episode 20. I'm Aaron Bain. The man to my left needs no introduction this week. It is the none other than Tommy's Impact, Tommy Javor.
Yeah, they used to call me the mug punter, but I reckon I'm just moving above that echelon, Bainey, aren't I? It's in the notes. I've got 30 seconds.
Anyway, moving straight along.
I've got 30 seconds.
Time's ticking.
Look, mate, front page, $14. I went out there, I went out in a leaf, and it won. Look, there's no need for me to elucidate what happened, but I will. Word of the week. Look, if we were doing a Let It Ride, look at your face. If we were doing a Let It Ride 3 weeks ago, Dixon Street, 20 turns into 70. Then Adelong, 70 turns into 231. If you were dumb enough to put that whole 231 on front page, you would have won 3,234. But there's more. There's one more. If I go 4 in a row, one person that doesn't get enough credit is Justin, the cameraman. He's doing the editing. He's doing the camera work. He's running the script.
Mate, your 30 seconds is nearly
No, Justin is fantastic. If we win 4 in a row, Justin has agreed for 10 seconds to come around this side and
show us what he looks like.
Bring back the robot. He's going to give us 10 seconds of the Justin robot if I can go 4 in a row this week. So that'll have some impact. Moving on.
Tommy, I just want to congratulate you, mate. You've done a fantastic job. And it was actually our sponsor, Shane Collins, the Gall and Brosser Jockey Club, actually said he actually knows what he's talking about. I was talking to him through the week and he said, can you believe it? But he still didn't have enough confidence in it to back him himself.
And I'll tell you who the first person to text me or message me after it won was. You know who it was? Have a guess.
Who?
Our good mate from Chasing, Tyson
Panapanatis?
And he got on it, so well done to Tice. Deserve that. And I was on it, obviously, and a few of my mates weren't, so he sucked me.
Mate, well done to you. We're just going to take a look at some footage now, the front page.
Oh, it's good.
Just so we can just really kick the show off on a good note. Let's take a look.
Can't run a real scrimmage there at the 200, but front page has gone to the lead and kicked right away. 3 lengths that girl merited, and then Al Burke from a long way back, but it's over. Front page in a devastating win. Scores from a photo finish. High Stranger all merited there.
Anyway, enough of you now, Tom. It's time to get into it. We've got a very special guest on tonight's show. Before we get into that, we must thank the Gall and Brosser Jockey Club for bringing us the racing segment on Racing, Pacing, Chasing every week. Also, the Prince Albert Hotel Gawler, Choice Hotels Group, their work cannot go unnoticed for bringing us this show each week and bringing you our Tommy Impact specials. Our special guest tonight, before we get into it as well, Ryan Balfour going to join us for a chat. Very successful trainer here in South Australia at the moment. Well over 300 winners and going from strength to strength. 40 horses on his books, 100 horses on his books, 40 in work. It's going to be a great chat so hang around for
great stories and quite a few guests on all our shows tonight.
Yeah, so certainly.
Fantastic. Great to see so many people buying in and supporting our great programs. None more than our viewers last week. I believe across the 4 or 5 shows collectively, I think we cracked close to 10,000 views.
Mate, I just wanted to say, on my show alone, like mine, not Tommy's,
your show.
not my show,
your show,
the
right.
one with the panel,
the Aaron Bain show.
5,000, mate. You're going to crack 5,000.
Rocky told me that's his show, but whatever. Yeah.
Well, the reason we got 5,000 was our Butterworth sat on the sidelines for a week. Right? The people have spoken. Anyway, moving on, it's time for news, brews and barbecues. Righto, news, brews and barbecues, we've got to get through it quickly. People want to listen to Ryan, not us. All right, first up in the news, Darren Weir. Hearing's been adjourned to September 8, where he'll be joined by his assistant trainer at the time, Jared McLean, and 2 stable hands. Charges against animal cruelty, possessing a firearm, conspiracy to defraud stewards, betting corruption, and cocaine. To me, that's 5. I'm going to skim over it because your blood's boiling. You don't like this.
Mate, now, I'm not completely across the minutiae of exactly how these charges are and the specifics, but possessing a firearm, I can wear that. My dad had 55 of them. People use firearms, they shoot, they live on farms, they need a firearm. Conspiracy to defraud stewards, not so good. Betting corruption, not great. Cocaine, the old nose beer as well. Go have your party if you need to. It's illegal though, but the one thing I can't cop is animal cruelty. It's the one thing, if you know me personally, I can't wear it. Again, I'm not completely across all the details. I've heard some stories, and if you've been cruel to animals, mate, you deserve everything you get. It's
anyway,
not on.
Moving on a sadder note, which we'll wait for that to be handed down in due course. On a sadder note, Tommy, Graham Salisbury, the man who become part of racing folklore through the beautiful relationship with Melbourne Cup winner Sub-Zero, has finally, unfortunately, lost his battle with cancer.
Yeah, look, like, you know what they say about cancer, F-U-C-K cancer, but look, there's one silver lining. His wish was that he went before Subby. He loved that horse, and Subby's been cleared by the vets to attend his funeral now. It's just one of those little things that just, I don't know, it's the cream on the cake for a man who's had a great career. He gets he gets to go out with his best mate there. And it is an emotional thing. So
it nearly brings a tear to your eye
Yeah.
thinking about it, and I'm sure it will on the day of the funeral. It will
Yeah.
bring a few tears to many people's eyes.
Yeah.
There'll be something, there'll be a moment there that happens that will certainly bring a tear to
a great
your eye.
horse and a beautiful horse to look at as well visually, Sub-Zero. So yeah. Condolences to the Salisbury family, but he's probably out of pain now.
100%. Time now for a brew. Lead into a brew. It's now we tipped Zalmona as our 3-1 no cover last week.
Mona. Didn't get
I
to
don't want
sing
to
it.
hear it. I just
Didn't get to
hate
sing it.
last week you did the same thing. Anyway, race 5 at Gawler last week was won by Aussie Sojourn. Is that right?
Yeah, Aussie Sojourn.
Yeah,
So
done
why
that.
are we brewing if we tipped the wrong horse?
Peter Blanche.
Oh,
Peter Blanche is the brew this week.
okay.
Do you know what race he won?
I do know what race he won.
Surely.
Yes.
He sat at home with the illustrious, gold-plated, racing, pacing, chasing, maiden cup right there, filled it with a few Coopers and just cracked back on the couch.
Have we
and so-
arrived? We've got a horse race named after. Do we have to pay for that, or is that?
No, mate, we've arrived in the big
We've
time.
arrived.
Only thanks to Tommy's Impact.
I
You know,
wouldn't go that far.
I can't wait for Shane Collins to call it the Tommy's Impact Stakes, you know, because everyone's talking about it.
8 drunk horses with a twitch rolling up to that one.
Anyway, Peter, if you haven't given
No,
yourself
well
a
done,
pat on the back already, mate, after drinking a few Coopers out of the cup, do it, because we have just now, mate. Congratulations to you. It's the maiden Gawler, the Racing, Pacing, Chasing Maiden Stakes, and full credit to you. Well
So
done,
it'll be
Pete.
annual, will it?
Oh, it'll be bigger than the Grand Annual, mate. Like it'll be a carnival in itself in years to come.
All right.
Anyway.
Who are we barbecuing, Bainey? Hopefully someone good. Hopefully someone powerful.
The Port Adelaide Football Club, Tommy. Seriously, I'm turning my sights to your mob.
Right.
You want to sit in their corner?
Who do you go for?
Crows. Firstly, you're
Right.
taking over as number 1 footy team in SA. I can't even bear to turn the TV on when you're playing, right? You're the number 1 footy team in Queensland currently. You're the top of the AFL ladder.
For the last 4 months.
Hopefully you stay there because that'll be a massive choke. But anyway, now you've ventured over to Victoria, not in the footy because you're not allowed there yet. You're in your own hub in Queensland with a racehorse called Power Boom, right? Owned by Hinkley. Players including Rockcliffe, Lysart, Watts and ex-player Sam Gray. Your 2 starts for this time in for 2 wins.
Third last up.
Mate, honestly, is there any more else you want to take over?
Well-
Footy? Because I'm telling you, if Eddie Maguire gets word of it, he'll be on my side and Rocky's, and he'll go and buy a horse that'll just crush you.
Look, mate, we're just taking 1 week time down at Alberton and doing good things. And look, Kenny, not just horse owner, but you would have seen him. I know Tyson said he's seen him down at the dogs. Very loves his dogs down there, the old dish lickers. So Port Adelaide doing good things all over
I don't
the
care
place.
about that, mate. Power, your mates, barbecued. Sick of you. Anyway, let's move on.
Hey, how about that? A bit of Crow supporter.
Anyway.
How are you travelling? How are you travelling down there?
It's time for a short break because we've got Ryan Balfour up next. We won't ask him what team he supports because we're in Ryan Balfour's corner tonight. Stay around and we've got our special guest up next. And welcome back to Racing, Pacing, Chasing, the racing segment. And we've got a very special guest on the show now. Third generation leading trainer in South Australia, Ryan Balfour, joins me tonight for a chat about his stable and his horses. Welcome, Ryan.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. And we do say third generation, and we'll just touch a little bit on your on the history around third generation firstly, and how you got involved in racing them. We'll lead into a bit of your stable and where you're at today. So tell us a little bit about where you are, how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, I'm third generation actually on the dam side, mum's side.
Yeah.
My grandfather Tom Neal, he trained a good handicap winner and per cargo. So, and then obviously Dad was a pretty successful jockey, and then turned to training when he got too heavy around 85, and grew up with horses in the backyard. So it was in the blood. Was never too keen on school, but knew what I wanted to do early, which helped. And we moved to Singapore around 92 and spent around 5 years up there, and it was quite evident to me, that's the path I wanted to take, and too big to be a jockey, so training was the path.
Yeah, certainly. And spending some time in Malaysia and Singapore. We went at the peak there. What sort of numbers were you training with your dad? And that would have been an experience in itself to, ground yourself coming back to SA or Australia.
Yeah, that's right. When Dad went up there, he was training around 30 to 40 here in Adelaide, and finished off with around a second in the premiership to Hayes, and he got a contract to go to Singapore, which was a great opportunity for him. And when he got there, he had around 40, and at the time it was the MRA circuit, so it was Malaysia and Singapore combined. And his numbers grew at one stage, swelled up towards close to 100. and yeah, it was quite successful while I was there. But in the end, yeah, it was time to come home, and yeah, Singapore was very good to him. And came back to South Australia, was always going to come home and back to Camden Park where the stables were at Morphettville, training out of Morphettville, and just keeping that number somewhere around 30, and you know, he come back with reasonably good success.
Yeah, and you did have some good success overseas, and that probably set you up. You know, you were certainly very successful, as you said, your dad finishing second on the premiership before heading overseas, but you come back with that string to your bow. And how did that did it change your training techniques when you then started back out here after training overseas? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you learnt with the humidity, especially in Singapore, that you couldn't overtrain a horse. It was about getting them fit and keeping them fresh in between runs, and also there wasn't a lot of options to tip your horse out to spell, etc. So you had to learn to keep your horses in training and their longevity, about keeping them sound, keeping them happy, keeping them interested, and using the options and facilities you had to just reinvigorate them in different ways. So yeah, you do learn the different tactics in that way, and obviously, you know, the guys in Hong Kong, etc., anyone in those overseas environments had to train that way, but you know, Hong Kong now has obviously got some more options over in mainland China, etc., where they can spell horses.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to come back here and have, you know, those options, it's, I think you're forever learning, and then sprinters, stayers, different types of horses, different breeds, you've got to learn different ways to train them, fillies, mares, you know, obviously they're all different types. But once we get a horse up and training, do like to use the options to freshen them up in between runs, even 3 to 4 days, something like that. Beach, lucky enough to have the water walker. We're the only metro track in Australia to have a water walker as an option, so that's a big asset to us, and just using your facilities. So I think that does flow on, and it may sound corny, but really just keep your horse happy and try and get the best out of them that way.
Yeah, it's good, and sponsor of the racing segment, the Gawler and Brossa Jockey Club. They've just got the new pool out there as part of the infrastructure grant. So I know the trainers out there certainly, like you said, using it as a different training technique. It's going to be asset to, you know, the Gary Searles and the Darren Magros out there, and we're using ourselves from the harness side at the moment as well, floating in there most mornings. So it is about, you know, and you do mention that different training techniques. So it's obviously helped you, and probably longevity of some horses with their racing career as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've picked up some horses to train because we've got the water walker literally at our track, and it's fantastic option to have, and treadmills, swimming pool there as well, and yeah, as you say, like Shane done a great job to get that out there at Gawler, and it looks fantastic, and you know, they're a club that are really having a go, looking to emerge, and I think those options help to create opportunity to you know, have interstate horses potentially even come to you or stay with you. Fortunate enough to have a good connection with the Patrick Payne stable, etc. And you know, they're good to have those options if they want to leave them here for a run. Yeah,
certainly. Now, we're just touching on your dad, your father, David. So obviously passed away 5 years ago, or near on 5 years ago. And up until then, you had a joint trainer's license. You then took the opportunity around then to bridge out on your own, and you've trained near with just over 300 winners now, but probably the most memorable winner to use, your first listed winner, probably with your father, Rivers Lane.
Yeah, that's right. It was a great day, the CSA Stakes, actually Quinella the race actually. So yeah, and he's an old favourite actually. So yeah, it was great to get that Quinella, and a real special win. A horse that Dad, you know, raced the family as well, and some really great owners in the horse. And actually, when I went to train on by myself, Rivers was a horse that, you know, we had a good success with and saluted at Flemington with Ollie aboard at big odds, which we all were on. But just great old horse, and probably to reinvigorate a horse like that, you know, as well, you learn so much off him, and then to have Dad's style and then train it your own way, and always will have that sort of imprinted on you, and then just to use your modern, different, forever changing techniques from feeding or whatnot. So that was special.
Yeah, and it all, you talk about that 40 number, that's where you currently sit at 40 horses in work at the moment, but 100 on your books, and you might say there's 40 in work, but there's so much more involved with those other 60 that sit in the system somewhere, whether that's coming through the breakers, the spelling paddock, or it's a hard task.
Yeah, that's right. It's a big number, and yeah, you've got to forever changing. You know, we did have around 50 to 60 at one stage there, and just wanted to cut back to 40 because we were just spread out with the facilities we had, and I felt that it was just probably stretching us a bit. And now we've cut back to that number. It's really good. It's a good number. We can really, the team we've got, we can focus on that, and it works well. And got a great team around us, and yeah, it's working well, and we've got probably 20, 25 unraced 2 and 3 year olds. So I think in the next 12 months we're going to have a lot of new names out there, and I think we're going to start the season off with great effect.
Yeah, no, certainly. And you talk about teams, and all trainers, when they talk in any interview, that it's about their teams that support them, and you need a great team to train that number. What does a team involve for you, from admin staff to to track riders to stable hands? How many, and your main key people in that team?
Yeah, we have, really from casuals, etc., to full times, always ranging between 12 to 15 people, really. But yeah, I've got guys that have trained at good level, and from John Barnes to Chris Laird helps me with the floating and stuff, and you get a lot of people know Lairdy, and it's just great to have that sort of advice, snowball ideas, and for Luke Panels and people like that, and Yvonne Forrest, or all these people that work with me, and even guys that are writing work for me. They've trained or ridden in races. Simon Price does a lot of our key gallops, and just great to have all those soundboards. It's a big team, and you have to have an open mind, listen to everyone, and always take everything on board and just try and work towards the same goal.
Yeah. Now, tell us a little about your day as a thoroughbred trainer, just an insight when it starts and when it actually finishes. Just take us through a day in Ryan Balfour.
Yeah, look, it's different days, obviously. Mondays are your sort of nomination days, and generally a lot of communications, and also I like to go out to the adjustment properties where we have a few different places we use, and during the week, and I'll do a bit of my own floating as well, but I actually get out there to talk to those people, see the horses, and just have your hands on all the time. And when you're doing that, you've got your comms going all the time, and but yeah, the average day, you sort of, like say yesterday, Tuesday, we're up early, we've got the gallops kicking off, and we work all through all them, and then we go back and see all the barn heads from each of the three stables and go through all that. Then I work with the vets, and we do that sort of process, and then we touch base, and we've got the communication sides of it. And then that'll lead into the afternoon work and just check in with everything, and hopefully everything's gone smooth for the day. And then
not often that happens.
No, there's always some sort of drama at some stage, but no, it's part of the job. But and then next thing you know, it's sort of getting towards 5, 6 o'clock, and hopefully things are winding down. But sometimes you're still on the phone a bit, but it's all good. It's part of the job. It is a lifestyle, but it's 7 days a week. But at the same time, you can get your gaps here and there as well. Yeah.
Are you a race day man, or are you like training them at home? Which, if you had to choose?
No, I do. I'm very competitive, so I love being at the races.
Love being at the races.
I love being at the races and cheering them on. I think once you lose that, you sort of you shouldn't be in it. But being back at the stables, I'll be walking around there by myself at times, patting horse, talking to them, and I love being around animals and horses in particular.
And talking about being around animals, probably one in the limelight of most recent time, Balf's Choice. Pretty scary near miss with him in December with a bad colic there, but he's probably one of your, apart from Rivers Lane, one of your favourites. He's taking you to some of those better races as well.
Yeah, certainly. It was a scary day, and one Sunday in December just got a phone call, and he wasn't too well, and next thing you know, he's on the operating table and had a big colic surgery, and they done a great job at Morphle Equine, and he's bounced back fantastic. Gave him 4 months off, and we thought we'd just monitor him, bring him up steady, and he's just about ready to head to the trial. So if he keeps showing the improvement that he's showing in the preparation, will be magnificent to have him back. He looks fantastic, actually, maybe the best he's ever looked. So if it does work well, he might even find himself chasing another Balaclava Cup. He's a real special horse.
Well over 500,000 in prize money, and hopefully much more to come there. Good, nice little mare in your camp at the moment, Kian Wonder. In your camp.
Kenyon's been, Kenyon Wonder, she's been one that we probably experimented with distances and racing patterns have been her undoing, and we've discovered now she's a real sprinting mare, and she big mare, big bold mare that sometimes can bring herself undone if she gets crowded, etc. And the tight tracks weren't for her, so she had pretty good preparation, but I'm really looking forward to spring with her and just concentrating on the sprints with her, and just now we're training for that. I think she'll have a big spring as well. So
and another one, little Contra as well.
Yeah, she's
obviously got a nice opinion of this mare.
Yeah, fantastic horse for us. She's been 2-year-old of the year and won our premier 2-year-old race here, and then went over behind Exceedance, Bivouac and Libertini in the Coolmore and ran 4th, and Group 1, Derby Day. It was a great run from her, just so honest. This time around we threw in the deep end a bit and probably didn't have a couple of things go her way over the autumn, but got a good feeling she'll bounce back in the spring.
Now, what does the future hold for Ryan? Is it here in SA? Is there a satellite stable coming in Victoria? Do you want to move to Victoria? What's the future? Where's the 5-year plan for Balfour Racing?
We've contemplated those things, and I think at the moment, you've got to have an open mind, but I really like the way that everyone here in this industry is really having a go, and we're trying to work together, and I feel like the government, etc., is working a lot better with us, and I'm committed to SA.
Yeah.
I love SA, Morpheville, great place. I love living in SA. I wouldn't rule out having something. Ballarat's a pretty cold place, but it's probably logistically the right place. There's a place going ahead, but at the same time, we have a lot of runners in Victoria every year, and we can send them across to Patrick Payne or whatnot. He does vice versa for me, and so at this stage, I'm committed to South Australia, and it's somewhere where I really want to. It's home, and I want to try and give it every chance.
No, that's certainly very. It's good words to hear for someone in SA, and you're only on here before listening in studio to we had the chairman of the board for harness racing, and certainly there might be a lot of bad news out there or tough news you could say about racing in general in South Australia, but we all do it because we love it. And touching before we go, I do need a little bit of help on this show. You can't get away off the hook, and you have been known as some success. So back in 2017, you had 5 winners on a day with Jamie Carr, a field day there. So
yeah, it was an incredible day. We had 8 runners, and we're in 7 races, and 5 winners and 2 seconds, and lost those in photos, and actually we scratched the favourites out. So I mean, you think you have a good day every now and then when you go to the races, but to have it go that well was one we will never forget.
Well, Ryan, I need some help, mate. Tommy's got me on this show at the moment. Right. Tommy's Impact. He's tipped the winner at $14 last week. Absolutely carved me around the pack. We come up with a new segment called Let It Ride for charity, where we're going to have a $10 bet every week. And since we thought we were heroes, we were tipping great up until then. Every week we've just handed it over every week because we haven't won. So it's Let It Ride. You got $10, and then we're going to let it ride. So I'm going to go with you next week. If you got one for me, you can put me on the spot. I can put you on the spot this week and ask for some help, or I can text you before coming onto the show next week. But
well, look, this weekend probably Wanassa each way. Each way.
Yeah.
We've got a lovely 2-year-old filly in called Diamonds, who probably need every bit of the 1,000, and I really think that's probably one for everyone to follow, especially in the spring. Lovely filly. But yeah, now feel free to give me a text next week. I think we'll have a bit of a team in next weekend as well. But probably this weekend, to be put on the spot, I'd probably say Wanassa at top 3 each way value.
I'll have something there just to, because I know Tommy's better, he'll bail out, but that's all right, I'll hold it on. Before we go, it would be rude of us not to mention just how people can get involved with Ryan Balfour Racing, and it is about promoting your stable and also attracting new owners, and like we all try and do, get more people involved in this sport we love. How do they get in touch with you and your team to get a share in a horse?
Yeah, certainly. We've got our own website, so yeah, just RyanBalfourRacing.com. And we've got all our contacts on there, and horses available, so you can browse through. But feel free to drop us a line, send us an email, and we can get in touch. Our numbers are on there as well. So happy to have a chat and go through what we have available. We have racing options that in some horses you get to the races straight away, or we have other options that are down the track, yearlings, etc.
Yeah, it's certainly a big part of any racing business at the moment, that is attracting new people to this sport. So I appreciate you joining us tonight, Ryan. We'll be looking out for NASA this week. I'll also drop you a line because I'll need some help next week because I'm sick of Tommy's Impact just absolutely teaching me a lesson. So we're no doubt, hopefully there might. If you see one of yours come up in Tommy's Impact, you can be sure to have plenty on because he's in a good vein of form at the moment. But
hopefully one of mine.
Thanks for joining this week. All the best of luck on the weekend and for many years to come. And hopefully you can finish this season off. And we're certainly looking forward to those 2-year-olds stepping out for you later in the year as well.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Stick around, guys. There'll be a winner to follow up shortly. We're back now. It's time to find a runner to follow. And I tell you what, we haven't been great over the recent weeks with Let It Ride, but we must
been great. Couldn't hit the side of a barn door with a shotgun.
Anyway, thanks to Garrard's Horse and Hound that bring us Let It Ride, and Rocky's bank account currently just chewing away at his $10 bets week in, week out for charity. At the moment it's negative, but you would have seen on the great interview we just had with Ryan Balfour, I'm going to get him in my corner next week, all right?
Because you need it.
Mate, you haven't won a Let It Ride either. And
No,
it's
I haven't.
about time
No.
you either put all your eggs in one basket and you make your Tommy's Impact, your Let It Ride bet this week, or you stand up and you deliver for charity, because the Let It Ride, we have been horrible, and if you don't, our show deserves to be barbecued next week until I get Ryan Balfour in my corner with a one to Let It Ride.
I'm going to give you a little ticky here though, mate. You went for Roselli Sting was at 13s or 14s, paid $5.30 to play. So anyone that listened to you and went each way made some money. But the idea behind Let It Ride is to win. So based on that, we haven't been great.
Right at the place. I want to rewind the footage.
But I'm taking a leaf out of the old Bane book.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Bane. You know, Bane was a Batman villain. Bane. Anyway, we can't. Hey, like that. We're not editing that out. All right, if you're interested to hear that everything I've backed this week is a number 7. Keep going, we're right, we're not cutting. Caulfield, race 8, number 7. It's called South Pacific. It's at 14s, that's right, 14s. I like it for a few reasons, even though it's a long shot. Ollie's the jockey, it's from the Mar Eustace camp. It's won 2 out of its 9 races, both on the soft. It's tipped to be soft, and it's won at the exact distance it raced at. Look, Let It Ride, we found it harder to pick than a broken nose, but race 8, number 7, South Pacific at Caulfield. Get on it.
$10, South Pacific. It's
And
time
who's
now.
the charity? For which charity?
You've donated St. Vinny's here.
Okay, St. Vinny's it is. Good charity.
We haven't got anything to donate yet, mate, so let's not worry about that.
We'll give it a crack.
Anyway, it's time for the show, for the segment that we wait for every week, and that is Tommy's Impact. Righto, Tommy.
Impact time. All right. So look, you gave me a pretty.
It is going to your head, isn't it?
No,
Like it really is.
I'm pulling the reins back. Woo! Because we've played it up 14 to 1. Yeah, I didn't have any other winners on the weekend, so I was a bit lucky, but it was good that won. Let's move on though. Front page, 14 to 1. Race 7 last week was good. Again, I'm going. This time we're heading to Doomben for race 7, number 7. Still going with the 7s. It's a horse called Inquiries. I got it at. Funny enough, guess what I got it at today?
14s.
7s.
7s.
Good try though. Ryan Wiggins is on board now.
I should have read my notes.
Yeah. Ryan Wiggins is on board now. I wasn't familiar with Ryan's work, and I did a bit of Googling. He's had 494 rides at a 10% win rate, so that's good enough for me.
That's nearly as good as Jacob Ockerman.
He's got ops covered, I think. But yeah, look, at 7s, I'm going to tell you this week, don't chuck the 20 on the nose. Take 10 each way, so you still get a bit of value. You'll still win if you get a place, but 10 each way. Race 7, number 7, Inquiry. Now, 50 Shades of Impact. It hasn't quite had the impact of a Tommy's
It's its
Impact.
last chance.
But I'll tell you
I'm
what.
axing it next week.
This week, 50 Shades of Impact is going to be the jam in my jelly roll, big boy, because we're going to start the day at Rose Hill. He told me he wanted me to be funnier this week. Rose Hill, race 1, number 7.
You love your 7s.
Yeah, it's called, it just turned out that way. It's called Fast Channel. It's at 5.50, so being in the first 4 races of the day with your bookmakers, you can get that at 11 to 1. It's ridden by James McDonald. The trainer is Jack O'Shea. It's had 4 starts for 2 wins and 2 seconds. I actually don't mind that one at all, so I'm chucking a few bob on that one. Fast Channel.
James going to punch this one out of the line?
I would like to think so.
In a bit of hot water?
Beg pardon?
In a bit of hot water, James, after his ride last week?
Is he? Well, he can fix it all in race 1.
Righto, he can get us back.
Shades of Impact. Bainey, it's been fun. Bainey.
Mate, honestly, seriously, I don't know how I can work alongside you. Never take you seriously.
I can't wait for chasing. Panagotto, what's he going to do tonight?
If you haven't watched last week's chasing segment, he has been woeful. And I tell you what, Tommy, I'm giving him his last chance tonight, because you know what? If he fails to give the punters a return this week, you know who's joining me on the chasing segment next week?
Rocky Butterworth.
Tommy Javor.
Oh, mate.
With Tommy's Impact all night at Angle Park. I reckon because you have been on fire, mate. Your head doesn't need to get any bigger, because it won't fit us on set. You'll have to host this show yourself.
You want to see me pick dogs, I either pick number 1 or roll a dice.
That's what Panagotto's doing later on the show if you watch the chasing segment. Anyway, thanks for joining me again tonight, Tommy. It's been a pleasure.
Let's hope I'm back next week with a winner and we get to see the great Justin Broham do the robot.
That'll be better than seeing you host the show one night. Anyway, as always, gamble responsibly. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's segment with Tommy and Ryan Balfour joining us. And thanks to our sponsors. We'll be back this time next week with racing. He's already doing it offset. He's getting ready for the robot. He's confident. We're confident. Get on Tommy's Impact.